Shabbat Shalom. Once upon a time, in a land that was very far away, there was a city built of sand in the wilderness. The people of this city, they had a particular motto that they would repeat to themselves all the time. Shali, shali, v'shalach, shalach. What's mine is mine, and what's yours is yours. So if you walked from one end of the city to the other, you'd hear people saying this motto to themselves. What's mine is mine, and what's yours is yours, as they went about their day. From the baker in the marketplace to the teachers in the courtyard and parents and children and the elders of the city, everyone was saying this motto. What's mine is mine, and what's yours is yours. One day, a young woman traveler entered into the city. Her camel, because she was riding on a camel, her camel had gotten a camel cough, and she was forced to stop her travels. She walked around the city looking for a camel doctor. Hello, does anyone in this city have a camel doctor who can help a camel with a cough? Please? But the elders of the city, they frowned at her, and they frowned at the coughing camel, and they turned their backs to her. One old woman looked at this traveler in the eyes and says, "It seems as if your camel has a problem. That's a you problem, not a me problem, because what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours." The woman with the sick camel made some special camel medicine by herself using an old recipe that she thought that she remembered from back home. And then she set up a tent in order to spend a night in this weird city. She fed her camel and baked some simple flatbreads, some pitas, for herself and for the camel. The young woman noticed that there were a lot of hungry children in this city made of sand. And when she got up to give a hungry child one of her pieces of flatbread, one pita, a man leaned out of his tent and he yelled at her, "No! What's mine is mine and what's yours is yours. Don't feed that kid. Your pita is yours." Well, this traveler, she had quite enough time in this bizarre city with its nonsense motto. For what kind of life is it if it's a life without sharing? What kind of city is not built on kindness and compassion? That very night, our young traveler, she wove a giant basket. It was a basket as big and as tall as she was. And she wove into the basket a secret opening in the bottom. All night she stayed up baking breads, making pita, braiding chalot, and she filled her basket with all of this food. As the sun came up over the city of sand, this woman, she traveled from one side of the city to the other, holding her giant basket, and she would pretend to bump into people. Excuse me, each time releasing a piece of bread from the secret opening in the basket. She knew that she could feed the hungry of this town. And none of the elders or the adults saw what she was doing. She whispered a little prayer to herself with her big basket filled with bread with the secret opening on the bottom. She said this prayer, "What's mine is yours. What's mine is yours." The young traveler then packed up her tent and got back on her camel, and she headed out into the sunset because staying in this town was not going to work for her. This city made of sand, a city without compassion. It has a name in our Torah. It's called the city of Sodom. And today in our Parsha, in Devarim 29:22, our Torah warned us against closing ourselves to the needs of others. Our Torah warned us that if we care only about what is ours at the expense of other people, then we become like Sodom. We become like this place with this motto that what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours. A city and a life that is built only on the self is a city and a life that can be built on cruelty, and it will not endure. For we know that Sodom crumbled into the sand and collapsed by the weight of the hearts that were unable to feel, eyes unwilling to perceive suffering, and hands unable to act with justice and kindness. Even though the city of Sodom became nothing but sand, the later rabbis of the Talmud in Masechet Sanhedrin, they wrote this story of the young woman who tried to change the city. They wrote down the story of a young woman who secretly passed out bread from her basket because she knew it was the right thing to do, because it was good and kind. Our Torah this week and the story from the Talmud, they remind us that compassion is not a job for one single person. Our traveler, she couldn't change the city of Sodom itself because she was only one, and no one else there was able to change. She could only show them the possibility, a possibility of another way of living, a possibility of being compassionate. And so her challenge and her motto and her prayer are passed on to us. What's mine is yours. What's mine is yours. It is through this act of loving kindness and compassion, the givings of our hearts and our souls, it is only through this that our world will be built and that our world will endure. Shabbat Shalom.